Well, hello everyone, and you join us here for the third instalment in this crazy unfolding drama that is the MoonSwatch. People have started to get theirs, started to see and feel them in their own hands, and it's the same for us. We finally managed to get hold of some and see what they're like, and we really wanted to give our first impressions. So, Tom, what do you think? Oh yeah, it's Sunday, isn't it? Okay, so this one will just be me talking to you, but I've got something that I've thought of over the last few days that I wanted to share, because I think I finally understand the MoonSwatch. So first of all, what's it actually like? Well, it's exactly what you'd expect. It's a swatch in the shape of a moonwatch. The quality is exactly the same as you'd expect for the price point and the brand, and somehow with the Speedmaster branding and shape and everything like that, it also feels like more than you'd expect. It feels like more worth than the value you pay for it. And no better is that reflected than in the prices that we're starting to see some of them go on eBay for. But here's the thing. What I initially thought was that these watches were going to be sold in a limited run to create hype and awareness and clamour to try and get hold of a select few pieces that would end up on eBay for a lot of money and never really see the light of day in any ordinary collection. But Omega have done something that I didn't expect. They have said these will be available online very, very soon, as early as the 28th perhaps, as an unlimited run in available numbers. So that had me confused as to thinking, well, why are they doing this? But I've thought of something else since, and it's all beginning to make sense. Bear with me. Now, what's happening in a few days' time from now that ordinarily would be the peak of the hype calendar for the watch year? Rolex will be releasing some new watches, perhaps a new coloured bezel, new style dial. Unlikely to be a new model in any kind of dramatic sense. Those little incremental changes that you see from Rolex that drive up new hype for that new piece and further extend the waiting lists and desirability, etc., etc. But this is different. This Omega MoonSwatch says, no, you can have what you want. You can have it in the number that you want. You can have it at the price that you want. It's a completely different mindset. It's the complete antithesis to the Rolex hype train. It's free, it's inclusive, it's available to everyone, it's enjoyable by all because of the low price point. And it's a fresh new way of thinking about an industry that has been travelling in a single direction for such a long period of time. And I kind of understand why Omega has done that. They've tried to compete in the other direction with Rolex, playing Rolex at the same game, and they just haven't been able to catch up. So this plays an entirely different game. They have managed to generate the same buzz, if not more, about a cheap plastic quartz watch. They have managed to build an enormous amount of chatter. The collective community talking and sharing and wondering and speculating about what it all means. And they've done it all for very, very little. Bearing in mind that the leak for this watch only happened a couple of days before, this isn't a long period of building up to something big and something exciting. It's really straightforward and really simple. This isn't damage limitation. This is a preemptive strike on Rolex and the industry as it stands. This ever rumbling on hype train that just puts great watches and the people who want them most further and further apart. Omega has said, no. How do we bring those people back together? The easiest way is to sell them a Speedmaster with the Omega branding for $260. So here's what I think is going to happen next. This isn't going to wipe Rolex off the map by any stretch, not at all. But I do think this is going to change the way people feel a little bit. Now, I initially wondered if this would change the way people feel about Omega, but I don't think that's the case anymore. Now I've really muddled this through. I think it's going to change the way people think about Rolex. They will see a new £7,000 Submariner with a new coloured bezel perhaps, and know that it goes onto a waiting list for only the best customers who have bought lots of watches, and there will still be plenty of people who queue up for that watch, because of course it will still have a higher residual value. But there will be a lot more people who think, do you know what? No. I'm done with lusting after a mild variation of a watch I already couldn't get in a new watch that I definitely can't get. Just forget it. I'm going to buy myself 3 MoonSwatches, swap out the straps, enjoy the different colours, talk about them with my friends, share them on social media, and get the same buzz and excitement for so much less. I think it deflates some of that perceived value that Rolex has over its RRP, because you can generate that same feeling, that same sense of hype, all with a $260 watch. And if you can replicate that same feeling, then what does the Rolex have over the MoonSwatch? Aside, of course, from the exceptional residuals, but it's moot anyway for the most people who can't get hold of them because you have to buy so many other watches to get them in the first place. So, after all that, after muddling the pros and the cons for the MoonSwatch and how I think it might turn out in the end, once all is said and done, once everything has been through the wash, I actually think Omega is going to be applauded for doing something brave and different and interesting and risky with its brand, to bring the community closer together, to unite the people who can afford the really high-end watches with the people who can't over the same collective piece. Now, I'm sure you think that's all very mushy and silly, but I genuinely believe it. I think that, especially with the way the internet has changed society into individual groups of people who feel resentment amongst each other, something like this that gets people out in the open air, all celebrating something that they enjoy together in a community of people that isn't dictated by the price they can afford, is something very special, and will go down in history as a blow that Omega struck on the status quo. And I really can't wait to see how this evolves into the future. So that's my thoughts on that, really, and I'd be interested to see what you think of that, how this will make you feel about the upcoming Rolex releases and the hype that goes along with it. Will it for you make absolutely no difference? Will you be just as excited, or will you feel a little bit deflated by it? Let us know. And of course, we will still be there to see those new Rolex releases and all the rest at Watches and Wonders in the next week. So join you there very soon. And please do subscribe. Thank you very much.